Hey guys, hope everyone is having a great league start so far. I'm having a blast and the league mechanic is really fun. I just completed the campaign last night, so it was one of my faster campaign runs, and that's one of the things I want to talk about in the first part of this video is what I leveled as. And then later on I do want to go over the league mechanic a little bit for those who are having a late start or just want to know some tips on starting. So the first thing about the leveling is that I'm a witch and I am planning to play a exsanguinate dot reap build. Um, However, leveling, there's a few ways to level. Rolling magma, holy flame totem is one of the more recommended ways to level, but I really didn't want to level as that just because I've done it so many times and there's a lot of buttons to press. So as you can see here, we are leveling as RF Righteous Fire instead. And surprisingly, this skill is busted during the campaign. And in these clips here that you're seeing, I'm basically running a 4-link, and I think from act until act 5 or 6, my weapon was basically had 0 stats on it. It had spell damage from my rolling magma leveling, and that does nothing for RF. So this is basically a 0 stat weapon. And then once you get your golem on at act 4, as you can see here, the damage just starts ramping. The AoE gets noticeably bigger, and you really don't need much gear at all to level. So it's a really smooth leveling experience for me. It's not as tanky as you would think for an RF build, but that's okay because in the end I've died a total of 1 time, and that's from the league mechanic. I think I was a little greedy and I didn't have enough regen towards the later acts, so just 1 death, and it was really smooth overall. So if you're bored of rolling magma, I would definitely recommend checking out this Righteous Fire instead. Now, the second thing I want to go over is the league mechanic, and I would definitely recommend doing the league mechanic, and I have a few recommendations on what to pick in the tree to get the best loot out of it. But as you can see here, I'm just showing clips of me running through the campaign, but I've done the league mechanic almost in every zone, and it kind of slowed me down a little, but eventually at the end of Act 10, I was only level 67, which is typically what you would finish the acts with, about 66 to 68. Towards the later acts, I was basically doing the league mechanic and just running through the zones. So I was ignoring everything else, focusing on the league mechanic, and that got me to the level that is about ready to enter maps. So I definitely recommend doing that. And in a second here, I'll go over the league mechanic tree as well as what to focus on and some details on the build when you're leveling. Stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing that I want to talk about is the league mechanic itself. Again, I definitely recommend doing the league mechanic, and if anything, you can skip the campaign zones and focus on just the league mechanic. It's very rewarding, it prints a lot of items, and for your information, I'm running on a 4-link here, but I've heard a lot of people printing 5 links from this tree, and basically you want to focus on this top left tree over here by rushing for Arterial Mesh. So this one here re-rolls your items 150 times, and people have been reporting getting 5 links, 6 links even. And then for this node here, you want to grab body armor because that's the one of the things that can roll a 5 link. If you're playing like 2-hander, I guess you could get like 2-handed melee weapons there, but body armor, and then you should be getting 5 links. I don't have enough graph blood, but yeah, that's very, very good. The other one you want to focus on is probably your graphs early on. Just get 1 good graph. I heard the one with tornado is best. I'm running with this one here that deals lightning damage, and it was quite impactful in the early acts, but not the best. But yeah, the league mechanic, very, very rewarding. These ones here, the currency are also good. But I would say as you're leveling through the campaign, getting a 5 link is the most essential, so focus on the top left. Now for the gear, again, we're on a 4 link here for Righteous Fire, and then for your weapon, you want to try to get +1 fire if possible. I bought this from trade for 1 chaos. Scepters are good because general elemental damage will scale your RF, spell damage does not. Shield is just life here, and this is all picked up from the ground. If you can, +1 fire again is the best. And then everything else is just some life, some resistances, and that's it. These boots I found on the ground as well. It's only 15% movement speed. And we are capped on res, I believe, with purity. Almost capped, but you definitely want to overcap on your fire res because of the fire mastery early on. That's when you swap over to RF. This will hard carry you through the axe. But I've noticed throughout the later acts, like from 7 or maybe 8, 9, 10 onwards, I start degenning a little. And that's because as you get more life from your gear and your regen does not go up, that's when you start degenning. So it's important to get some percent regen, something like this here, 1.8, 0.6. That will help you maintain your health. And I'm playing Exsanguinate Reap Fizz Dot, so I'll be pathing down here anyway, so I grab this. But if you don't want to come down here, there's also some life regen up here as well. And I think this one. I think that's it. For the golems, you want to grab Chaos Golem, Stone Golem, Lightning Golem, and Flame Golem. The AoE is noticeably bigger once you've put on Flame Golem. And for the Ascendancy, the first lap, non-negotiable, you want to get Liege of the Primordial. And then after that, it's whatever you're playing. If you're playing like a Wanderer, then I'd probably go for Bringer of Ruin. For my build, I'm probably getting Shaper of Storms for my Merc lap. And that's about it. That's the tree. That's the gear. And if you're playing my build as well, you want to swap over to Exsanguinate, so make sure to level that as well as Corrupting Fever and Reap in your offhand. And yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully this video helps you out. If you are starting out new, focus on Elite Mechanic, grab the 5 link from here easily, and you should have a pretty smooth campaign leveling experience. In the next few days, I'll post an update on this build once I've transitioned over to let you know how it goes. Hope you guys have a good one. See you later.